man, can you see me sweating? It is too hot for this shit. I'm gonna make this real quick. Hello folks, thanks for tuning into the latest episode of Vinyl and Vision. This is episode 49 with my very special guest, Matt Korvette. What you're listening to, this bombastic track you're listening to, is False Jesse Part 2. It's the opening track on Piss Jeans' 2009 Sub Pop album, King of Jeans. At the end of the show, they'll be playing a brief segment of The Bar Is Low, the last single off of the latest record by Piss Jeans, Why Love Now. So Matt is an amazing singer and frontman of the Philadelphia band Piss Jeans. He's also a very talented writer and evidently a huge music buff. He chose the album tonight, Not So Quiet on the Western Front, which is a 1982 compilation, punk rock compilation, presented by Maximumrocknroll magazine and released by Alternative Tentacles Records, which some of you may know is Jello Biafra's record label, the Jello Biafra from the Dead Kennedys. It's a great comp, and it really speaks to the influence on Matt and his, in his journey in music and kind of like what he creates and how he creates it. And we talk in depth about that, actually. It was very, very insightful. I really enjoyed this talk. I think Matt's a great, absolutely wonderful person, really great person to speak with. It was just so easy to kind of just like, talk with him and kind of share ideas and just, ask him the stupid questions that I come up with, and he was completely in great sport. So I thank Matt very much for taking the time, and I hope you guys really enjoy it. We ask here at Psychic Static to please do all the things you do, like, share, subscribe, comment, yada 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 yada. You do it all day long on the internet anyway. Do it for us, please. We'd be very thankful to you. Rate and review, and if you know what, send us messages too. Like, find us on social medias, or you can message us through our website, psychicstatic.net. And like I've been trying to say it for every show now, subscribe to us and follow us, of course, obviously, first and foremost, and then let us know who you'd like to see next on the show. I'm very open to suggestions, and the more people reach out to me and let me know who they think would be a good fit for this show and who they'd like to hear from, the more I will be able to find them, reach out to them, and even persuade them to possibly join me here and do the show for you. So that's it. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
Yeah, totally.
There you go. That way I get to see your beautiful face a lot better.
All right, sweet. Sounds good.
How are you doing?
Doing great, man. Friday night.
Yeah, huh? You got any plans?
Yeah, I'm gonna roll out and have some fun after this. So see some friends.
Yeah.
Should be good.
How's you were in Pittsburgh, correct?
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. I'm sorry.
No problem.
Cool. So what's it like with the world reopening? I mean, how's it look for you?
Pretty great. I don't know. I'm ready to see some people. I got my shots, and I had COVID in February, so I feel pretty safe to exist again around other people. Right. Within reason. I mean, it's like summertime, so a lot of outdoor hangs.
Yeah. It's the time to be out and enjoy and see people,
Totally, yeah. And I've been seeing tons of people. Went to a show last night. That was super fun.
Oh yeah, what'd you see?
This band called Birds of Maya. They're like Philadelphia, like very like high-rise Japanese like blues rock, blown out sort of like thing.
Okay.
And like they're really nice guys, and there's like a big friend group around them that I got to see, of people I haven't seen in like a year and a half. So it was a really nice time.
Nice. That sounds great, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I mean, considering we're talking about, the pandemic ending and kind of like the world reopening, I mean, what do you guys have any plans? I mean, what's the reopening looking like for you?
Like for Piss Jeans, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna play some shows probably in a few months, maybe closer to the fall or winter. We've been working on like writing a bunch of music, which has been super fun.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we haven't we didn't our first practice back was in like late April of this year. We weren't like getting together during the pandemic at all.
Right.
So I mean, we would just like talk on the phone and like shoot ideas back and forth, but that's not really how we generally like write stuff.
Of course. No, man, you guys are a tight band. I mean, you guys need to be in a room to make
Yeah,
it work, right?
it's just I mean, an hour together in person equals like 10 hours of texting or emailing, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I bet. Well, that's great. How does it feel to get back with the band and like, get back in a room?
Oh man, I'm feeling so good. Yeah, it's been great. Like our drummer Sean has like a new house out in the burbs, so we play in his garage, and
Nice.
it's like doesn't feel as hurried as like when you're renting a room by the hour, to practice in. So
Right.
it's been really good.
That's great, man. Let's just go ahead and get right into this.
All
I
right,
like
great.
I like to ask a little bit about your history, kind of growing up. Like, you grew up in Nazareth, Pennsylvania, right?
Right, right, right.
And so, and how many do you have, like, siblings or stuff?
I have a younger sister.
Yeah. Okay. And you're about 39, or are you 40 now?
Yeah, I'll be 40 in a couple months.
Oh, okay. Cool. So we're almost the same age. I'm actually a little older than you.
Oh, okay, cool.
Um, so, growing up, what was music like in the house for you?
Um, it was always present, like as a little kid, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was always around, but I don't know that that really made a big impression on me. I definitely took to it by like early elementary school, like into Guns N' Roses and Motley Crue and stuff. That was like Guns N' Roses are still like one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with them.
No.
Like Faith No More, I got really into, and yeah, I don't know. Then what was it like? Rage Against the Machine hit, and I was super into that.
And that was like
And
what,
then
92ish, I think, right?
yeah, probably. I mean, like Nirvana, of course, loved them before Rage Against the Machine.
Right.
And then, like, probably by the time I was like 13 or 14, I had like hints of like underground rock, just
Mm-hmm.
from going to record stores. And then by the time I was like 14, I was like into like Epitaph records.
Okay.
That sort of like, just beneath Green Day level of like undergroundness.
Yeah. Right. So now, like, who introduced you to music first, like as a kid, like in the house? Was there like your parents into music at all, something like that?
Yeah, I mean, then my, like my dad would like play like light kind of jazz guitar stuff and Bob Marley or something. And my mom be into like Michael Jackson or whatever,
Hmm.
kind of generic pop Van Morrison.
And you
Didn't I
dug it
mean
up,
I was like to me I always felt like that was my parents' music. Now it's
right?
weird now where like all these people my age or younger love like my parents' music. It's like
There's
do you
something
not want to
relatable there.
rebel? You
Well, I
know?
mean, there's something enjoyable about that music. I mean, you
Oh,
can
definitely.
appreciate
Yeah.
it,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I can appreciate pretty much any music or any form of music,
Right.
but yeah, I mean, like I definitely didn't feel like, oh, I want to be into what my parents like when I was like, 15 or whatever,
Right.
or even 10. I was like looking to
Yeah.
find my own path.
Uh-huh. And did you like, what was your interest in making music as a kid? Did you get turned on to any musical instruments? Like, did you take any
Yeah, I
lessons?
mean, like I bought a bass. I got a bass guitar when I was like 13, and I've played bass in a few bands through the years. I'm just not like very technically skilled in that way.
Yeah.
Like I can get by,
Sure.
but it's not like I love bass guitar. You know what I mean? It was like here's the lowest level of entry to like be in a band. Which worked for me.
Right.
And yeah, and I started like playing in bands probably by eighth grade, like trying to find a way to like make some punk music with like whoever was there. And then I ended up meeting a couple of my friends who are in Piss Jeans with me now, Randy and Brad, who were a grade older than me. So they were like sophomores when I was a freshman, and we all started playing music together too. Like there was like tons of bands with the same like 8 guys,
Yeah.
just shuffled into different formations. And I got to be a part of that and loved it right away. Oh yeah.
Hmm. Okay. So you kind of like, you think that being like a front person was kind of your calling? Like you felt immediately comfortable
I
doing
love
it?
it. Yeah, yeah, it felt great. I mean, because that's what, like, after playing bass in my very, very first band when I was like 13, where we never played, we played one birthday party, and it was like I was so nervous, it was terrible, like we sucked.
Yeah.
But then like I met these other guys who like had a little more experience, had already played like VFW halls and stuff, like actual shows, not like a birthday party.
Right.
And so they like kind of grasped it a bit more, and were definitely like understood what amps to have and stuff. And yeah, being with them, like I was down to try singing, and I loved it, you know.
Hmm. What would you say? Like, was there something that you kind of drew from to like kind of influence your presence as a front person or your singing style?
Huh. Trying to think of what I even like was into at that age. I mean,
Yeah.
we were like just soaking in so much stuff where it would be like, you know, ska punk and like grindcore and
Mm.
like anything that existed, like, you know, youth crew hardcore and like agnostic front and
Yeah.
anything that like we could get our hands on, we like just kind of soaked in, you know, like it wasn't
Right.
like we all just loved Operation Ivy and that was it, or we all loved the Misfits. It was like all across the board.
Yeah.
You know, like used CD stores shaped my tastes more than anything because it was like you could just spend $6 and get like a new CD, you know?
Yeah. And did you have like
Yeah.
a good like did the record stores that were around your neighborhood, like did they have a decent selection? Could you get stuff that was like, kind of like stuff that you'd be interested in?
Yeah, I lucked out. And like by the time I was like 16, a record store called Double Decker opened, which is still around today in Allentown, and it's like the best.
Hmm.
And the guy Jamie who runs it like is responsible for like 60% of my musical epiphanies through the past like 30 years, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a big deal, just anything, you know, from like finding like Will Oldham or finding like Aphex Twin, you know, just like things I would have never figured out otherwise, just
Right.
stumbling upon there. Because you can just
Huh.
listen to whatever, like throw on a record if it looks weird, you know, like
Yep. Right. Have you ever worked in a record store?
I just worked at Double Decker like for a couple weeks through the years,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
like filling in. No, never did. I would love, that's like the dream job, I think.
Well, just because you saying that, how there was that guy that kind of turned you on to things and would kind of like suggest things to you, it's just like every store has that guy. And it's just like that's like a really godly position. Like this
Yeah.
dude that can like shape a young person that's not like a family member. That's just like, hey man, you ever hear of this? Like try this out. It's pretty cool.
No, I mean, I hope that's still, I mean, I feel like that's what I try to do just with like the writing I'll do or like talking to people. Like, I just want to turn people on to cool stuff that I'm into, you know, like
Yeah,
stuff that you're excited about. And I love when people do that for me, you know, the more people can tell me what they're psyched on, like I want to learn, you know?
yeah, for sure. And it's always good to have something like find something that's really hits you and that you can really
Yeah,
enjoy.
yeah.
Like your band, Piss Jeans. I mean, I didn't know about you guys until the end of last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I was talking with the guys in the Hammer Party, and Dan told me he was just like, "Oh, you gotta reach out to Matt." I'm like, "Okay, sure. Who's Matt?" And so he tells me, and that's when I research it. I was just like, "Oh shit, okay." And like I've been listening to all of your records, and I fucking love it. It's
Oh,
like
great.
it's
Sweet.
such good, intense punk music. It's like it's kind of refreshing. Like I don't feel
Oh,
like
that's
there's a lot
awesome.
of yeah. I don't feel like there's a lot of bands that are making music like that right now.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, not as much as like 10 years ago, you
Yeah.
know, maybe something like that.
But even 10 years ago, it wasn't even like, a popular thing. It wasn't something that was kind of like,
Right, right.
gaining traction or anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just me and my buddies. We just like have an idea of what we want to do and like what we like out of it, and we have so much fun with it. Well, we're also not like super road dogs or like professional musicians where we're like 2 a year album cycle, you know, 4 month tour. So
Yeah.
that's why it bums me out that like I think more people would like us if they knew we existed, but it's like
Hmm.
you have to get in people's faces to for them to even find you these days. So
Right. Yeah, I
so
guess so.
whatever, you know.
Yeah, I mean, and like, well, so why is that? I mean, like, I understand that you guys have like day jobs and stuff like that. Like, you're not at that level where it's this is well, actually, I think what I read from interviews with you is that you guys don't even necessarily want to make music your job. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much that sounds like super annoying, like suddenly I'm already like, I already want people to like what we do. Like we're definitely putting out records for other people to listen to. It's not like a personal project that only me and my friends can enjoy,
Right.
like we make records with other people in mind. But I mean, we want to have, like, it's so much fun, like, and there's not a carefree in the world, we're just doing our own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And if I was like, well, we have to pay rent through this, I don't know, that sounds like stressful as could be.
Hmm. Yeah, I guess so. I
you
mean,
know
like, but that, and then that's the same thing. Like, in turn, if you were to, like, let's just say, quit the jobs and, like, dedicate yourselves to the road, I mean, that could kind of make up that difference and kind of like even out, right? And then you could
yeah,
get in
I
front
mean,
of more
maybe,
people.
but I mean, like, I love going on tour and trips, and like doing that for months sounds like hell, in a
Mm,
lot of ways.
right.
It's like great. It's like all being in Pistons is like so special to me because it's like rare, and when we do it, we're all having the time of our lives. And it would probably be lost a little bit if we were doing this band like 9 months out of the year, just
Right.
nonstop.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I was actually talking to Brian Gibson a very long time ago. Brian Gibson is the bass player for Lightning
Yeah,
Bolt.
of course. Like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I ran into him one day and we were kind of just hanging out and talking, and he kind of said that same thing. And this was before they moved over to Thrill Jockey. Like, this is before their last record came out, and like
Mm-hmm.
they were just kind of like on this weird hiatus. Like, no one knew what they were going to do next or if they were even going to continue.
Right, right.
And he kind of mentioned the same thing. He was just like, I don't really want to do this like a job. He's just like, if I do that, I'm just going to get burned out, and then it's not going to be any fun.
Yeah, I think that makes. I mean, then that's what happens, right? All these like bands people love that tour all the time. It's like, wow, who knew they became an alcoholic? Who, like, and they don't talk to each other anymore, and they're all like super sad, and it's a terrible tale, like over and over again.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas with me and my like Pistons, we've been around since like 2003, 2004 ish, and like we're having so much fun still. Like it's only gotten better. I feel like we're getting better
Yeah.
playing. We're better at playing shows, better at writing songs. It's like, what a treat. I feel so lucky to have that, rather than already have gotten so burnt out by being surrounded by these same three dudes like every waking moment, like
Mm-hmm.
being driven mad by all their little habits and stuff, like there's none of that. Like whenever I get to see their habits now, it's like, quaint and fun.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Yeah, man. I guess that you're right. Might as well leave that alone and let it be what it is, because it's the best way to work at it.
I mean, I think a lot of people just like feel like, oh well, they maybe they really want to get famous or they really want to get rich somehow, And
Right.
I can understand those impulses, but I'd rather just have like a life, like with friends and family, like outside of that,
Right.
I want to just go and hang out with my friends, pursue other things, not just be like stuck on the road all the time.
Right. Yeah, it's true. You miss out on a lot, right?
Because I mean, you see bands go on tour and you can tell how like super burnt out they are, and how they're just like they go through the motions, or like this band, they have a set list for this tour and they do the set every night. And for us, it's like we're so psyched to be here. I hope like I feel like it rubs off on the crowd because they can tell that like we're really happy to be in Chicago because we come to Chicago once every 2 years. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or wherever. And we come up with the set list that night, and where it's like how we're feeling, and it's just like it comes from a really good place. I feel like,
Yeah. Right. A genuine place of like having
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. And I mean, like,
Yeah.
I can be like non-genuine in my job, or like in my daily life, something like that,
Yep.
where I have to deal with people to like make a buck.
Right. Nice. You're in front of your records now, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah. I got a little record zone.
Oh, I was gonna say, now that you moved in front of your records and I can see them,
Mm-hmm.
you are a collector, it seems, a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Guilty as charged.
Yeah. Well, what's your relationship with records? Like, what do you like about them?
I love them. I mean, I'm like a really big fan, and it's weird now seeing them as like treated as like a collectible toy market almost.
Hmm.
Kind of like a
Right.
weird, like everything's like colored vinyl of the Simpsons soundtrack or something, you know, like
Yeah.
there's a lot of that going on, which is
Right.
enough to like turn you off a little, or turn me off at least. But no, I just like love putting on a record and listening to it. You know, I love like the tactile experience, you know, like having an actual record, looking at it, the
Mm-hmm.
art that comes with. Like I just really connect with that as a package versus like Spotify streaming or something, you know.
Right. Right. And so how about for yourself as a musician releasing records? Like, it was that super important to you to make sure that your music came out on vinyl?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, it's like that's the ultimate. I mean, even when I was doing bands in high school, like we got to do like 7 inches or split 7 inches, and like I couldn't believe it. You know, it was so cool to
Right.
like that just feels like such a level of like authenticity, or like a level, you know, like you've made it. You know,
You're
like a new,
established.
yeah, yeah, like a new proof that like you're worth listening to on some level. You know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I hear that. That's great. So now I asked you here to speak about a record that you think that influenced you and your art.
Right,
Um,
right.
so you chose the compilation "Not So Quiet on the Western Front."
Yeah, yeah.
Do you have a copy of that
I do, I do.
on vinyl?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, sweet. Do you have like an original one? Like, I guess it's
I
pretty
do.
easy to tell because the early and the first pressings actually say Maximum Rock and Roll Presents. Because I guess further down the
Right,
line when they
right.
did
Yeah,
it,
no, I'm into like, I mean, embarrassingly, I'm into like original records and stuff like that. Like
all right,
pressing info can factor
nothing
in for me. But
nothing
yeah, no, I do
embarrassing
have
about
one.
that really.
You know, it's kind of dorky, but what can you
Huh,
do, right? We all have our things.
exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I have that like with the zine insert, and yeah, it's like I feel like it's the an incredible choice for me. Like it's so truly inspiring for me,
Mm-hmm.
a real like game changer.
Yeah. And so tell me about when did you first find that record?
Well, I was I want to say like a freshman in high school, and was getting into like, you know, was already into punk and like discovering the local punk scene and stuff. And there was this one kid in my class who was not particularly punk. He was just like a skater. Like I would definitely like be a skater too.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, "Oh, I have like a record that my uncle gave me it's in my locker." And like somehow he showed me, it was like, you know, kind of crumpled to fit into the locker, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh man, like I would like that," you know. And he's like, he sold it to me for like $10 or something, this really like crumpled up copy.
Okay.
And I didn't have a record player at the time, like I just had like a CD player or whatever, but my parents did. And I remember like the first time listening to it was like Halloween, because it was like one of the first years like I was too old to trick or treat. And so I was like the one giving out the candy, and like there was a record player in my parents' living room, you know, where I lived, so I was able to like play it there, and was just blown away, I guess. Then, and like still to this, I was listening to it before we got on, just for the heck of it, you
Oh,
know.
cool.
It's just like I could listen to it anytime. Like it's just, to me, it's like the perfect template in a lot of ways of like how to be make punk music.
Yeah, I think so. I can agree with you because you told me about this record, and so I've listened to it. I never listened to this one before. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess I kind of can't say that I'm really a huge punk fan. Like,
Okay.
like I said, we're about the same age, and I did get into punk when I was a teenager, but I kind of caught the Green Day wave,
Right.
and so kind of got into the power pop punk thing.
Okay.
I liked Nirvana too, obviously,
Yeah.
but so I think that Kurt Cobain rubbed off on me because he was always so big about kind of mentioning his influences in bands that he liked that were obscure,
Yeah.
like Shonen Knife or Flipper or stuff like that, and so
Right. Right.
I found what I could,
Hmm.
but I guess I just never kind of really dug in too hard, you know?
I mean, for me, I guess it was because I met a bunch of friends. Like I loved that stuff, and like, you know, was loved Rancid or whatever, and like would slowly figure things out. And then once I met my friends who were into this stuff, they exposed me to the more like original underground punk, and it just like blew my mind. It was like totally for me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I can hear it. I think I can really hear the influence of listening to some of these songs on this record, and then like kind of putting them next to like the Piss Jeans catalog.
That's cool. I mean, yeah, I would love to just like write songs like that, you know?
Well, I think you do for the most part. I mean,
Yeah,
they're a little
that's cool.
different. It's your own take, you know, and that's kind
Right,
of
right, right.
that's what influences are all about. You know, you don't want to mimic what you hear, but
Yeah.
just take little bits here and there from whatever you
Well, I
got.
mean, we do try to mimic it, but then it just comes out different anyway. You know, that's the beauty of it.
Yeah,
So sometimes it's like, let's rip this off, and then it just comes off differently anyway, you know?
right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's inevitable, really.
Yeah.
So, let's just go ahead and get into this record.
Yeah, sure.
What I did was that because this album has fucking 47 songs on it,
Yeah.
I went ahead and said, all right, I'm just gonna select about 10 songs.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So I listened to the whole thing, you know, quite a few times, and I selected 11 altogether. So the ones that I chose was Intensified Chaos by Intensified Chaos.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, it opens up the album, and you
Hmm.
can't skip it. Social Unrest, Their Mistakes, Killjoys, Rich Plastic People, Fang, Fun with Acid, Square Cools, I Don't Want to Die for My Country, Los Olvidados, Pay Salvation. I have to say that with that fucking accent. I can't help myself.
Yeah, do it. Yeah. That's how they'd want it.
I guess so, right? I don't know those guys. I mean, like I don't know, like are they Mexican or what is was their
I don't know. I mean, it's all like pretty much Californian comp, so there's got to be like at least some
yeah.
Mexican, heritage going on in the personnel in these bands.
Yeah, okay. All right. So Code of Honor, What Price Will You Pay? Bad Posture, GDMFSOB,
Hmm.
Millions of Dead Cops, The Only Good Cop, Church Police, The Oven Is My Friend, and Rex, Punk is an Attitude.
Perfect. Yeah.
All right. So that's what we'll go over.
Cool.
So let's go ahead and try to listen to some of it.
Sure.
All right.
Love a fake British accent, you know?
Yeah, right? That
That's
was just
like,
one of the things, right? I mean, well, because you got to think, you know, early 80s when these bands were around and writing and recording this stuff. I mean, that was kind of the biggest thing, right? Punk was basically coming over from Britain.
yeah, I mean, I think that's a lot of people, Sex Pistols kind of
Right.
dictated the template. But then it's also like I think like a lot of the bands, like maybe the average age of this comp, it's got to be like under 21 years old. You know what I mean?
As far
There's
as the
probably a
people.
few, there's probably a few like 20 or somethings, maybe a 30-year-old in there somewhere. But it
Yeah,
was
maybe.
like interpreted by like young people who like only have scraps of like the Sex Pistols to go off of or whatever, or like local bands in their scene. I feel like a lot of these bands are just like, oh, I love like the community feeling and like the hunger to meet like-minded people. Like you're in Reno and you're like dying to know what's going on in like San Francisco. And you might have like one friend who got a demo tape and it has like an address on it. So you just write a letter to it just to like those like putting out like, beacon points to like connect that like I really resonates with me, that need to like find like-minded people when you're probably surrounded by people you have nothing in common with,
Right. Yeah, for
like
sure.
how you had to do it like pre-internet, like the effort it would take and then the bonds that you make, because this comp is like very regional and it lists where the town where every band is from, like that means something
Right.
to Maximum Rock and Roll compiling this.
Yeah.
That just resonated with me. Like I love regional comps.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like I miss like areas having their own distinct sounds and styles.
Right. Now, I mean, this is a pretty wide swath, though, of like, it's called Not So Quiet on the Western Front, so it's Californian bands and then some all the way out into Reno, to
Yeah,
Nevada.
yeah,
Nevada.
probably some from Nevada. Yeah, I think probably not Portland. I don't think. Yeah,
No,
it's
I
just
don't think.
California.
Right. What you were saying was something about creating a bond, like having like these kids. Like what I was imagining when you were saying that was a feeling of like kind of being isolated, being a loner. Like there's
Totally.
no
Yeah.
one around you that understands you. Is that kind of how you felt as a kid growing up?
No, I mean, like, I always had friends, but yeah, probably like once I got into punk and like I moved to Nazareth like before 8th grade, so I didn't know anyone. And like luckily, like a year later, I was able to meet like some of my best lifelong friends. But I feel like, yeah, just have like, maybe the punk sensibility being one of like valuing artisticness and like questioning things that you're told. If you don't have those values, if you're not interested in like creativity or art, and if you're just looking to believe whatever like the authority figures tell you, I would have trouble relating with a person like that. And there's tons of those people. So
Yeah, right. I think there's probably more of those people now, it
yeah,
seems.
yeah, for sure. So like back then, being able to like find my own like local tribe, which I did, was great.
Yeah, that's great. That is great because I mean, I feel like for people that are into punk, like, let's just call ourselves punks, right?
Right.
As kids, teenage punks, yeah, I mean, I feel like there was such a small group of those people that were around that you could relate to, you know? So
Yeah.
it's like if you didn't fit in with them or if you didn't get along with them, then you were fucked. You were on your own.
Yeah. I mean, I would have had friends somehow, but these were like the best friends. It was like such a good crew, and everyone had their own specific style or taste that they would bring in. I mean, I'm sure that's true like any friend group, but yeah, it was like great to have it, and I just love seeing it in this comp, and just figuring out, okay, these bands share a member or something, or like this band turned into this other band, just like the social aspect of it is important.
For
Like it
sure.
just seems so far removed from like Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd or whatever, where they're just like, it's not about like a communal thing. It's about being like big guys on stage or whatever.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So Intensified Chaos, by Intensified Chaos. So a couple of lyrics that struck me was that right off the bat it says, "I don't care if society's right. I got to live my own life." So thinking about those lyrics, do you feel your punk ethos has waned as you got older, or are you still in
No,
it?
no, I mean, like I'm probably more radical than I've ever been in how I like approach life, I would think.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, definitely. I mean, as you get smarter, you just get angrier at, how stupid the ruling class and elites and the systems that we like, participate in are.
Hmm.
How much you learn how much more complex racism is than when you thought it was when you were 15, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, no, I mean, like, I'm always trying to just reevaluate things and learn, and assess. So yeah, that I would hope to be more radical now than I was when I was 15 or something.
Hmm. Cool. That sounds great, man.
Yeah,
Um, so let's move on to the next song.
sure.
I wanted to make sure I included this song because I feel like this song reminds me a lot of Piss Jeans.
Okay, yeah.
It has some like, it kind of starts off one way. It's kind of, fast and intense, and it kind of has this part where it just kind of breaks into. It's kind of like mellows it out a little bit. It's kind of a different
Yeah, a little like
groove.
a zombie walk part.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's a great song. So I think it's funny because listening to this song, this is just one of the many songs on this compilation that has like strong political themes. So yeah, so with this album and some of the songs on here being influential to you, why don't you write about politics?
Um, I mean, I feel like I would write about it more from a personal perspective because that just feels more genuine and like honest. Like I definitely, and I don't think I'm like intelligent or like thoughtful enough to give like a broad view of things. I just find that
Hmm.
annoying. I don't know. It's just not me. Like
Yeah,
I want to talk to you about like my life, which will be political in a million ways,
sure.
rather than be like war is bad, you know,
Right.
because also like I'm not a soldier. I've never like marched off to a different country. Like if I did, I'd be singing about that. You know, if I
Right.
had like if my best friends like went to Vietnam or like something, then I'd probably have that a lot more to say about that.
Right.
But I'd rather just talk about me, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully that can be relatable and people can see that it's coming from like a real sincere place.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and I mean, it's not to say anything, negative about your lyrics. I mean, I think that your songs
Oh,
are
sure,
great.
yeah,
And there's always a thing like, your songs tend to have, a little bit of they're lighthearted and they have humor to them,
right,
And
right.
so, I mean, I appreciate it just the same. I'm personally not a really big political person anyway. I feel like it's just fucking, especially in today's like day and age, like it just seems like politics are so goddamn like isolating and like, uh, divisive to
I mean,
people.
it definitely, I think with the internet where you can just spout off stuff, it becomes like a team sport kind of where, the way a person would root for the Boston Red Sox, they'll root for the Democrats or something,
Right.
like
Right.
which is just like a great way for us to all be busy yelling at each other, for no real
Mm.
purpose and
Right.
distract from like the severe inequality that's happening or, the fact that people are dying because they're not getting like diabetes medicine, like it's much easier to just make it about like surface issues to yell at each other about.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I feel like I would like. I mean, I love talking about politics with like friends and stuff, and like having meaningful conversations. But I'm not gonna like post a rant on the internet, and I'm not gonna like write lyrics in that manner either. You
Right.
know?
Okay. That's fine. I'm just curious because I mean, I love the music, but I just think it's funny because, you seem that like, you had obviously a lot of this strong influence from like a lot of these early punk bands, all this punk music
Yeah,
from
yeah,
from back in the 80s. And I mean, it just kind of struck me. It's just like it reminded me because like I said, I'm not such a strong punk person that
yeah.
yeah, they're so political. There's like all these like hardcore bands and punk bands that are just like stand on these pedestals, like like kind of like almost preaching to people. They take that opportunity to use that platform to let people know about what's happening. And so that's kind of just I was just curious, like where you stood on that.
Yeah, I mean, like I have nothing of like value to say about like Joe Biden, but like I could tell you like why I suck, and we can talk about that, and then hopefully we can all get a little better, or get a better understanding of things in ourselves.
Yeah. You find your fans relate to you through your words?
I think so. So I mean, like it's been a minute since I've really talked to anyone,
Right.
about piss
Yeah.
jeans, but yeah, no, I mean, people give me good feedback. It's really nice.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, let's move on then to the next song, "Rich Plastic People."
Save the government, save the country, save the world.
We're you! Rich and deep, that's the one. They think if that's alright. You get this off the sky, you fire with your lamb and shot. They don't know what they want. They think they have us on that just as they wait on gun. They think they come again and they think that I'm a friend. They don't know if I do. I don't
Yeah, right there. I think I caught the last bit of that chorus. So the chorus goes, "They don't know what they want." When did you know what you wanted, or do you know what you wanted?
What, like just in general?
Yeah, I'm thinking kind of like in an existential life existence.
Huh. I don't know. I mean, maybe it slowly gets clearer,
Yeah.
over time. I just want to. I mean, I don't want like. I guess I know what I don't want, which is to just like be on the internet all day long, like arguing and like refreshing feeds. Like what I would like is meaningful connections with people I care about.
Hmm.
Which feels weirdly radical sometimes because everything's trying to just keep us busy with like pointless crap a lot of the time rather than just hanging out with people you care about, you
Right.
know?
Yeah. So, what do you think about this song? "Rich Plastic People." I mean, I think it's obviously kind of like a satire or kind of commentary on the uber rich.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I guess I would think about this one more in terms of like sonics. And I love, like, I mean, a lot of these bands on this comp, they all have some aspect that like is unique to them, or like a way to stand out, almost like that weird kind of nasally like delivery, and like what, like it's just so annoying sounding. Like I love all
Yeah.
of that, like the way they figure out like who's going to be the singer, and he's going to deliver it in this weird kind of like gobbly, quick delivery.
right.
Yeah, there's just like I don't know,
Hmm.
so much fun. It just seems like they're like sincerely enjoying.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. And it's funny too, because like I can't remember like which song exactly, but even this one seems like a decent example of like really shitty recording quality. And it sounds like they're just like those type of kids that, like, back in the day before we had good gear, you would just set up like a little boombox with a little built-in microphone and just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
record the room, right?
No, I love that sound. I mean, I feel like this whole comp, the one band I feel like is the worst band and also like the best band on the comp is Maniacs, because
Okay.
they had some really like lo-fi recordings, and they barely, like, it sounded like each player was playing a different song at a different tempo at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's just so fantastic that it's in there, just so out of control.
Yeah. I'm
But yeah, I
actually
love the sound. Yeah.
okay. I'm actually just surprised like how well that sounds.
Yeah, no.
I mean, like in this day and age, like, everyone's got a garage band or something like that. You got some way
Yeah,
to
it all
kind of like,
sounds so uniform, that sort of tinny, like compressed sound of today.
right.
It just doesn't have the same energy or like grit behind it, or it has like a filter of grit that's not real, like they applied some effect to simulate, like your ears can tell when something cool is happening or when it's like a simulation of something cool.
Right. Yeah. Are you an analog purist?
No,
Okay.
but I mean, I feel like it's just hard to beat those early 80s recordings in a lot of ways. They just have, I don't know, it speaks to me, with guitar bands especially.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. Well, let's move on. Let's move on to
Sure.
Fang.
I can hear the noise. I can see the lights. The helicopters are coming down on me tonight. I can get rested. They're just over the hill. I can see the lights. The helicopters are coming down on me tonight.
That's a fun little song.
Yeah, it's like you can tell like Kurt Cobain probably liked it. You know what I mean? Like it has that proto grunge feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for
I feel
sure.
like that was a big kind of sound for Piss Jeans, is like the hardcore punk bands that got mid tempo and that led the way to like the Seattle sound, like 8 years later or whatever.
Yeah.
That's a sweet spot for me and my band.
Huh. Do you feel like you ended up in the perfect place being on Sub Pop?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, where else would you want to go?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't really know anything about labels for the most part, but I mean, that one is so iconic and so kind of like prestigious with a certain style of music. It's just
Totally,
like,
yeah.
from back in the early 90s, like when they kind of like discovered Nirvana, and then hence like all those other bands, Soundgarden and fucking Mudhoney, and
Yeah, of course.
amazing label, amazing history.
I mean, Mudhoney covered Fang a bunch. They still do
Yeah.
at their shows, yeah.
This song really caught me. I really liked this band, and so I kind of want to get into some of their other albums. Or I think they only have like one album, do they?
They have Land Shark is the best one. That's the first one, which sounds like that.
Okay.
And then the other one, what's after that? Where the Wild Things Are is also really good. They just got progressively a little more metal,
Okay.
over time. And then the one after that is like pretty like dirtbag metal-y, not as good, but if you're a fan, you might as well listen to it too.
Yeah, I'll get into it. I'll eventually like explore all of them.
Yeah, Land Shark's great though. Yeah, they're like real like criminal punk, like shady character.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Living the lifestyle.
Right. So yeah, this song, "Fun with Acid," pretty straightforward. Have you ever done acid?
No,
No.
no,
So
no.
do you do drugs at all or have done drugs?
No.
Okay. Just a drinker?
I, I like getting drunk. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, someday it's on my bucket list.
Really?
So yeah, after once I clock out of the office, age 65, I'll need to take a little sabbatical on an island somewhere
Yeah.
and run through the list. I guess more not really uppers though, maybe just more hallucinogenics and downers and stuff.
Yeah, I think mushrooms are good. Like
Yeah,
I think I can handle that.
yeah. I mean, I've certainly been exposed to that stuff, but yeah, just haven't pulled the trigger personally.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm afraid of acid at this point. I mean, like I'm at the age now where I'm just like I think it can break my brain. Like it's just not worth it to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I honestly don't think about it much, so I'd have to like do a little research or something before I decided to get into it.
Yep. All right. Well then, let's get into Square Cools. I don't want to die for my country. Oh, you know what? I want to catch a little bit of the mid part over here. Let me see if I
Sure.
can find it. I guess it's the end. Oh, it was the end. Okay. I love that part. Like,
Yeah.
it's a great song, super loose. You can hear them kind of fuck up right there near the end. I think
Yeah,
it's
I feel
great.
like it has like that kind of like sarcastic country twang that like MDC probably ushered in. Like I think they were a pretty enormous band at the time, like pretty influential.
Oh, okay.
They're on the comp.
Millions Dead
just
Cops, right?
yeah, just being like very like political and like jokey about it.
Mm-hmm.
They're not one of my personal favorites, but I like them. But you can just tell that they were like top of the food chain in a lot of ways back then.
Yeah. Okay. Um, I don't know much about Square Cools. Did they go on? Did they have like any other
Yeah,
full
me neither.
releases?
I mean, that's the beauty. Like a lot of the, I mean, like I don't think Intensified Chaos they did like a demo. That was it.
Right. Yeah,
I
I mean a lot of
appreciate the ephemerality of punk bands. They don't have to exist for decades. Just like be a blip. Do something
Right.
cool.
yeah, but I mean like even a lot of these bands that are on this comp, some of them this is the only thing that they've ever had released, like just this one song on this comp.
Right, right.
So, I mean, that's why, like, I didn't get into all of the history of all of the bands because that's the other thing about doing this show is that I do a lot of research about the music and, like, the album. But
Cool.
considering there's so many fucking bands, I was just like, I can't get into I can't get into all of these bands, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, part of the pleasure of getting this, like, as like a young kid, was there's so much to delve into. Then,
Oh, yeah.
so
bet.
much to figure out and like learn that you like and like make connections and like look at a thanks list. Like it's a great
Right.
spot to start from.
Yeah. Did you end up using that, like, using the information off this record, like, all the bands? And did you ever get to see any of these bands play live?
No, I mean, I don't think so.
They never
I
made
mean,
it out to
Fang
the
might
East
even
Coast.
still play around today. MDC probably still plays. 7 Seconds is on there. They probably,
Yeah.
I mean, Dead Kennedys are on there, I think, and they,
Yeah.
there's probably some weird scab lineup of them going around right now, but
Mhm.
that's not as interesting to me as like sitting back and fantasizing about Intensified Chaos.
Yeah. Did you interview that drummer for
Oh
Intensified
yeah,
Chaos?
I did. That's right.
Yeah, I think I read that interview.
Yeah,
Doing
yeah.
the research. That was
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
How was that for you, like finding him and talking to him?
Oh, awesome. Like I love that stuff.
What was his name? Chris something?
This was like years ago. Wow, I totally forgot that I even did that.
Oh, okay.
That was cool. I don't even know how I found him.
Yeah, huh? Some of these guys are fucking probably pretty hard to find.
Weird. Yeah.
All right, so Square Cools. I don't want to die for my country. One of the lines is, "Cause I don't want to kill someone I don't even know." Would you prefer to kill someone you do or do not know?
Um, I mean, I'd love to kill them both, honestly. Some strangers, some people I'm close with.
Dig
No,
just
I don't know.
dig into the serial murderer lifestyle.
Yeah, no, but yeah, what, you know?
Yeah, I just think it's funny. I'm just like, why would you say like even if, that you don't know? Why does it matter? Why does it matter? I just don't want to kill anyone. Period.
Yeah, I think when you're 15 years old writing an anti-war song, you're not the smartest person to be doing it, but there's beauty in that, you know?
Yeah, there's a like a naivete, some kind
Yeah,
of
I
like
love it.
innocence.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I mean it's a great song. It means it. They mean well. I just think it's funny.
yeah.
So the next song is by Los Olvidados, which means the forgotten. If you didn't
Okay.
know that,
No, I didn't.
I speak a little Spanish, just a little bit.
Cool. Yeah, I think that they've had like other records out, I think. So this band's like done a few things. They have like a retrospective or something.
Yeah, and all of the members from this band have kind of gone on to they continue playing, but they're like all part of different bands now.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah,
cool.
I did a little bit of research on it, and I kind of saw that they're this seems like the most established band, or at least the players that went on to do other acts. You
Right.
know, yeah. So Pay Salvation.
Sunday morning, you just got up, don't turn your TV. I'm always there on every channel, there's no escape from me. I know you're feeling guilty, but the fun you had last night, and now it seems the perfect time to pray and find your fight. Pay salvation. Pay salvation. I nickel them a dollar bill, whatever you can afford. That's your unlimited new world voice, the name of Christ the Lord.
It was like keep about one verse per song.
Sure.
So I don't know. I think this is a funny song.
It was like an anti-church song. Is that kind of what I'm thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that first verse kind of caught it, but it's definitely a song that seems to be like laced with irony and satire around the church and the whole plate collection thing.
Yeah.
Have you grown up in the church?
Yeah, I like grew up going to church, like Christian, I think.
Yeah, I always get them mixed up, the Christian
Yeah,
and
me too.
Catholic.
Same ball of nonsense.
When I was a little kid, I actually had a hard time with up and down.
See? Yeah.
I was all fucked up.
Yeah.
So what was your experience like with the church as a kid?
Just sheer boredom. Get me out of here.
Right.
Stupid.
Yeah. I think it's funny. I remember an interview with Frank Zappa that said like if you want to like fix the world's budget, like the world like our economic deficit, like start taxing churches and schools.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like a religion almost seems like kind of outdated at this point. Like, there's got to be so many more agnostics and atheists now than there were like 20 years ago. Like
Mm-hmm.
how many teenagers are really loving Jesus Christ these days versus like 1980? Seems like it's
Yeah.
making a drop, which is
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, another thing I really never think about, like religion.
Yeah. I mean, would you consider yourself agnostic or atheist, or
I just wouldn't consider myself.
you just don't even think about it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like there's better things for me to worry about, I guess.
Yeah. No, that's for sure. I mean, I don't like to worry about things in general. Like
Yeah,
I think worrying
it's
is
fun
kind
to
of
ponder. Yeah, it's fun
yeah.
to ponder, I guess.
Right.
But
Yeah. I mean, like, I'll get stoned sometimes and I'll kind of get into my head a little bit, and that's probably not a great thing, but
yeah.
you start to think about the whole existential thing of life and like, what does it mean? Why are we here? Like all that type of thing,
Yeah, I mean, it is fun to think about, but like I read this one book that just it goes through like the 5 major mass extinctions that have already happened on Earth, where it's like armored fish are ruling the planet for like exponentially more time than humans have been. Like, even like it dwarfs like dinosaurs are like a blip on the Earth,
Right.
and they've been here so much longer than people. Like I feel like it's all just very inconsequential besides to us,
Right. So you're
like
just living for the moment.
Yeah, I mean, when humans go away, like we'll just be like the thinnest line on the list of like the timeline of the planet, which in itself is like going to be a blip, compared to other things.
Right.
So I kind of take some comfort in that, knowing it's all kind of pretty meaningless.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like that.
You know?
I don't like to dwell on the worry. I mean, I think I leave the worrying to my wife. She does all of it for
There
all
you
of
go.
us. Yeah, and I'm just
I mean, I'll worry about like my day-to-day life too, for sure. But yeah, just humanity is not going to last super long comparatively, to like weird, protein organisms, and stuff like that. And just even dinosaurs, I doubt we'll outlive them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I agree. It's fucking wild.
It's like an old planet, a lot of stuff's been going on here, and it feels like new to us, but
right. It's because we're new to it.
Yeah.
All right. Well then, let's move on. We're gonna burn right through this record, man. We might as well have done all 47. Code of Honor. What price will you pay?
How many more lives will be taken and crushed out? How many more minds will be shattered, destroyed by what they've been taught? Can't you see that's all about you? All the times I've been from you guys, yet you still will follow. Can't you see what there's another life, and if you want to keep us freedom, you must know what price will you pay. And still, it all goes on around us.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a little preachy,
This one's very preachy, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, love it too. Like it's all like, to me, it's like every song benefits from the other songs around them. You know what I mean? Like the mix of just approaches while all within the same general, tent really does it for me.
Right. I mean,
they were like a little more technically advanced musically, like they could clearly like have different parts and stuff, and the guitarists would want to like show off a bit. I like it. Yeah.
Okay. I agree with you. I mean, I think the note I wrote about this song was that there's something about this song that makes me think about the overwhelming integrity or moral compass some punks hold, and I think we kind of discussed this a little bit already. But like, what are some of your core beliefs in regards to punk?
I mean, I guess I don't want to like define it for anyone, except myself, I guess. But like, I mean, and also like it's such a word. I mean, it could mean anything from like just the music or like the fashion or the philosophy. Like punk could mean like opening a soup kitchen. Like taking care of like the unhoused or something, or it could just mean like having a 9-foot tall mohawk. I feel like those both fit the definition and are completely different.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, it's almost like a meaningless word because of how broad it is,
Yeah. I guess that's true.
But yeah, so I don't know. I wouldn't want to like try to narrowly define it in any way. And if I had to give it one like defining quality, it is to like, just question things, just to not just accept things at face value.
That's a good one. I like that. All right, then let's move on to Bad Posture.
Goddamn motherfucker son of a bitch!
Do it again.
Goddamn motherfucker son of a bitch! Goddamn motherfucker son of a bitch! I can't move! I can't twitch! Goddamn motherfucker son of a bitch! I can't move! I can't twitch! Got 38 pointed at my head!
This is one of those songs where I feel like it's just like a mic in a room.
Sure.
You can just like kind of hear everything. Everything
Yeah, I mean,
sounds
like,
blown out.
it was a revelation to 14-year-old me to hear like, oh, you can just like mess up. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
If you're just used to hearing polished studio songs, to hear someone like willingly put that out there, that was a pretty big deal.
Yeah. I bet. So, well, with that being said, I mean, what did you take from this song, like as far as this, like, being a kid, like,
It just kicks ass. They're like swearing. It's funny. There's a local punk band in the Lehigh Valley where I grew up, called Mr. Yuck, and they like covered this song too, which I discovered like years after first hearing the original and being like, oh man, that's so cool that they also liked it.
Right.
That they were like older guys. It has like, I mean, I feel like it kind of has like a proto dirtbag, like Gigi Allen style, like Murder Junkies sort of,
right.
curmudgeonly take on punk,
Right. Okay. So, I mean, goddamn motherfucking son of a bitch. It's just great. Rolls off the tongue real nice. What are your favorite swears in order of importance?
I don't know. I don't like swear very much, honestly.
No? Okay.
No, I mean, there's no swears in Piss Jeans lyrics.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, you can play any of those songs on the radio.
Was that the idea? Was that?
No, I guess it's just like, I feel like it didn't start on purpose or anything, but it's fun. It's like good to have limitations sometimes. You can be more creative. If you're just swearing all the time, well, that's not very creative.
Right. Yeah,
it's just kind of a placeholder word for something more meaningful.
Right. Okay. Well, so then if you don't use swears very often, and I get that, there's no reason to really. When the moment hits you though, what do you usually say?
Nothing special. I don't know. Fuck.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm not like flowery in my anger.
Yeah.
I just cut to the chase.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd rather like if I'm just talking, try to use more interesting words.
Sure.
Or yeah. I mean, I don't know. It seems weird to even talk about.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, I kind of, I think that, I don't know. Yeah, there's no real need to use them, I guess. But I think that there are certain words that just sound kind of fun. Like, I don't know. It's just a good explicative type thing,
Sure.
When the moment hits you, that type of
thing.
Yeah.
I mean, like for Bad Posture, that song rules. They did a great job with that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, then let's move on to Millions of Dead Cops.
Dead cops! Dead cops! Dead cops! Dead cops! Down on the street! Get for the heat! With extras and guns! They do it all for fun! Dead cops! Dead cops! Dead cops! Dead cops! Big bad and blue! They're in the clan too! We're down with this board! Let's put it to the torch! Dead cops! Dead cops!
We could probably just let that one go. It's only 40 seconds long.
That one's it's pretty, I mean, so out of control, sounding fast and like crazy,
Yeah. Millions of Dead Cops. This song is The Only Good Cop, which I'm assuming should end with is a dead cop.
Right.
All right, so let's move on to Church Police. The oven is my
awesome.
friend. I guess it was just kind of getting
So
good
good.
there. Yeah.
So good. Yeah, that one's a great one.
Yeah. So this song is weird. So it seems like it's a song that's dealing with a kid trying to commit suicide in his oven, and his mom catches
Yeah, I
him.
think probably just trying to like, present like a perverse story to like freak you out and unsettle you a little bit.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Love
I mean,
it. Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is probably more piss jeansy than many of the other tracks we've been listening to. Just
Yeah.
fun, slow, kind of demented, like cool plodding bass,
right.
like creepy guitar. Yeah, love it. Love Church Police.
Okay. Have you listened to other songs of theirs, or just?
Yeah,
this
they have a
one?
couple 7-inches that were like both released like posthumously, like throughout
Okay.
the one came out maybe like 2004, one was like 95 or something.
Yeah.
Very kind of cryptic band. Like there's hard to know much about them, which adds to the appeal for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, like I was saying, the song sounds like it's about a kid trying to commit suicide, and his mom catches him. So, what's the worst thing your mom ever caught you doing?
Huh? Nothing really. I don't know. I wasn't. Never
were
been
good.
caught.
You were a good kid, huh? Or you just never got caught?
Yeah, probably mostly a good kid. Yeah, no, I don't know. I wasn't like ever doing like terrible things.
Right.
Maybe with other friends at like a different house where like you could just like smash VHS tapes with golf clubs in the backyard or something, but like never like any sort of criminal behavior really.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not getting at that. I'm just thinking about the awkwardness of growing up, as a kid.
Yeah, no, I didn't really kind of just did my own thing. Yeah, I wasn't like I don't know, never felt that inspired to do like negative or secretive stuff in that way.
Right.
I don't know. I really don't have a good example. Yeah.
Okay. No problem. All right. Well, the last song is Rex. Punk is an Attitude.
Okay, sweet.
Nice.
So good.
Punk is an Attitude.
Rex said it, man.
Yeah. I think it was funny. Like I was trying, like listening to all of the songs on this record. I noticed that there were a few bands that had some women in the bands.
Yeah.
I think this is the only band that was all female.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I recall. I mean, definitely skews pretty heavily male, this comp, and probably heavily white too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like Dead Porker on this album has a female vocalist, and that song totally rips. And that one, of course, too. Like, yeah, just such charisma.
Yeah.
And it even opens with like basically the same. I was just noticing like the same melodic progression as "Fun with Acid" by Fang. That na 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 na. That must have been used like 2 million times by punk bands at this point.
I mean,
and
punk.
like, it's like there's so many different ways to use it. Like to put your own little spin on it, and it always sounds good.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So in closing, last song was Rex, Punk is an Attitude. Can you confirm or deny this statement?
Yeah, no, totally true. Who would I be to, accuse Rex of not getting it,
Right. But I mean, from your own personal perspective, the way you grew up.
Totally, yeah, right. I mean, that's like how you approach life, how
Right.
you, what do you value, like what do you put your effort into? Who do you support,
Mm-hmm. It's a little bit of what we were kind of mentioning earlier about the whole like morals, like this kind of like
not just satisfied with the status quo,
Right. And it doesn't matter the fashion. It doesn't matter what you look like. It's matter like it's more of
Yeah,
the
I mean, like
mentality.
there's definitely like a distinctive punk fashion that I don't want to discount, but I don't think you need that, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think about your band and like your image of your band, like like just the new record cover alone. Let's say
Yeah, yeah, we're not like in like leather and studs and stuff.
no big tattoos, no big hair, colored,
No,
none of
but
that.
that stuff's cool. I mean, like I love that stuff. But yeah, it's just not. That's not. I mean, I got to be true to me, you know.
Right. But that's exactly the thing is that you don't have to have that look just to be a punk. It's punk is the
Right, right,
attitude.
right. Totally. Yeah. No, I mean, they so eloquent, you know.
Yeah, it's a perfect statement, really. Actually, I think for punk in general, like the whole overall feel of this album, I think that that this one really just kind of nailed it.
Totally, totally.
Cool. So that's it. We got through the record, at least the selections that
Great.
I chose.
Yeah. No, thanks so much. That was fun.
No, thank you. I appreciate you coming on and talking about it. In closing, you know, the pandemic is ending. I kind of realized from like some interviews that I've listened to with you that it seems like Piss Jeans is kind of on like a 4-year trajectory of like almost every 4 years you're putting out a new record.
I mean, more by happenstance than by design.
Right.
I mean, we're writing a ton of songs now. I want to do it as soon as possible, but we also want it to be like really good. That's also part of
course.
it. We're not like here. We could give you like a new Piss Jeans album like every 6 months, but it would like not be that good, you know. So we just try to work it out until we have songs that we're just 100% super psyched on. And I feel like
Right.
we're getting there now that we're back in action.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear it because I mean it's been a pretty shitty year for you having to
Right? Yeah.
sit
For
around the
everyone.
house, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you do in that time? Like you did work on some other music, right?
What did I do? Yeah, I make a couple like tracks with other friends or stuff here and there just to have fun, you know, being creative and whatnot. Did a bunch of writing, but yeah, I mean, it was just always thinking about Piss Jeans. That's always my number one, you know.
Right. And what about your blog?
Yeah, that's a lot of fun to do it. Just reviewing records, talking about other albums.
Yeah.
I love doing that. Yeah, I've done that. I mean, I've done a zine when I was in like ninth grade too. You know, contributed record reviews then, and kind of been doing it ever since. I mean, I've been doing the same stuff all my life, it seems, but I just hopefully get better at it and have more, experience and insight, as things go on.
Yeah. So like how many records do you get like every month?
Well, I mean, lately it's been a bit less because all the pressing plants are jammed up and like every label's waiting like 9 months instead of like 2.5 months for their records. So
Yeah.
that's been a little depressing, not for me not getting records, but for just the underground at large having difficulty, getting things out on a reasonable schedule.
Right.
But, I try to write between like 25 and 30 reviews every month. It's probably been like closer to like 20, maybe a past couple of months, just because there's less stuff coming out.
Yeah. And how do people find you to go about like, getting you a record? Like, I mean,
I don't know, word of mouth. I mean, like the address is on the blog to send one,
Right. Yeah.
try to keep it pretty simple, kind of old school internet, like 2007 style,
Yeah, I noticed that about that. It's just simple, real simple layout.
Yeah, just, who cares, like, do you want flashy stuff or do you want to just read some thoughts,
Right. Cool. So then what's on the horizon for you guys, soon?
Yeah, just keep writing, probably have some shows to play in the next few months and just return to it. But yeah, it's nothing different, just more satisfying writing music.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, I mean, I think we covered it all. I mean, unless there's anything specific that you needed to plug.
No, that sounds great.
Cool. All right, Matt. Well, hey, it's been a pleasure speaking with you, man. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, pleasure for me as well. Have a great night.
Yeah, you too, man. Go have fun.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Those we adore just haven't spilled their secrets yet. I never steal, I never fight.
Vinyl and Vision is a Psychic Static production. Theme song written and performed by Jeff Robbins of 123 Astronaut.